This is a Propell blender. So why did Propell decide to make a blender? Frac sites have changed a lot in the last 10 years. A lot more proppant is going downhole and duty cycles have increased. So there used to be big breaks between fracking stages and now it's almost continuous duty. A lot of equipment has changed to accommodate this. You're seeing more sand storage on site and you're seeing more pumpers with higher horsepower. The one piece of equipment that hasn't changed much is the blender. As a result, the blenders are getting worked harder than anyone ever expected them to, and they're breaking down quite a bit. So Propell noticed this and knew there had to be a solution. One feature that really stands out on this blender is the cube radiator. Cube radiators have a high capacity for cooling and are normally seen on high horsepower equipment like frac pumps. We decided to use a cube rad on this piece of equipment so we'd have lots of cooling capacity. We know what it's like working in the summer in the Permian, and this cooler can stand up to that. Propell has the advantage of making its own chassis. So this is a purpose-built chassis for blending. You can see we have through holes as well, so if ambidextrous is needed, we can accommodate that. Complicated parts, like the tub, some pipe fittings, or the manifolds, and other items like that, are all built using jigs and fixtures. So if you need to order anything, not only do we stock it, but when you get it, you can just bolt it on. No modifications are necessary. Propell quality has been built in throughout this blender, making it the most reliable and easy to service blender in the industry. This is inside the blender. As you can see, by mounting everything outboard, we have tons of space to work in here. Whether you're trying to get to the bottom of the cab or the back of the chem pumps, it's easy to access. You can also see that everything is mounted in nice trays. Another standout feature on this blender is the manifold. You'll notice it looks a lot different than most blender manifolds, which are pipes or tubes with a bunch of 4-inch pipes welded on. Those crack often and need to be replaced all the time. So we have a patent-pending manifold which gets rid of those welded-on tubes with a nice 1.25 inch thick front flange, and everything bolts directly to it. The other big advantage that we've incorporated here are through hardened steel inserts. So inside each one of these is an insert which can be inspected, rotated if it's starting to wear, or fully replaced if it's worn out and needs to be replaced. The other cool thing with this manifold is that it's two-piece, so it's easy to manage, and it can actually be flipped around. So you can flip it completely 180 degrees. So if you do have uneven wear on some of the other surfaces, you can flip it and extend the life. This blender uses two C18 Cat engines, each putting out 800 horsepower for 1,600 horsepower total. They don't need DEF, and we sized them appropriately for this blender, so we wouldn't be running them at the ragged edge. This blender is made to be extremely flexible, so we can fit pretty much whatever pump is needed by the customer. Different customers have different pump preferences, so we made sure there's lots of space. Another important focus on this blender was safety. We made sure that all rotating components, such as a drive shaft, were well guarded. This is a drive shaft cover with technology borrowed from our frac pumps that Propell also builds. As well, any hot components are guarded, so an operator can't accidentally put his hand on something hot or spinning and get injured. Another performance advantage on this blender is the tub. It's been industry tested. The only thing we've changed is where the discharge is. So we've moved it to the outside to allow easy service and maintenance. We worked with an industry leader for fluid dynamics to run a CFD and make sure that moving that discharge wouldn't affect the mixing performance of the tub. That should prevent sand slugs and cavitation going to the pump, and we expect that to extend the life of the pump. These augers have oversized shafts and bearings, which are underneath this cover, to make sure that we can jam it and hammer it with hydraulics to prevent the augers from jamming up. As well, the sand hopper is very large and can fit about 3 yards material in it, which makes it easy for the sand operator to keep full during jobs. Something we focused on is user-friendliness on this blender. It has stair access, which is extremely easy and quick to set up and tear down. As well, we have a comfortable user cab, which is sized to accommodate a wide variety of control consoles. We have an electrically actuated sunshade, which provides shade and keeps the cabin cool. As well, we have two dryads, which are easy to access. And inside the cab we have roller blinds, which keep the sun out and keep the cab nice and cool. Everything is extremely easy to access, from the manifolds, which are the exact same on this side as the discharge, to the chem pumps and all the hoses. You can see these chem pumps are mounted over top of a stainless drip tray to collect any chemicals that may drip. They're very easy to slide out and replace and access the plumbing if needed, so bucket testing is very easy. You can see a gauge panel here mounted at eye level, so anyone walking around on the suction side doing maintenance can see where the blender is at a glance. As well, all the filters are mounted at user-reachable heights and easy to access. We set out to make the most reliable, most serviceable, easiest to maintain blender in the industry.